morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. I know usually we have Java with John after breakfast, but John was anxious to come talk to folks, so we figured we'd have a little summer session. I had a couple of quick announcements. First of all, our decluttering program that was scheduled for this afternoon has been canceled, but we are looking to reschedule it because I know that's something that everybody's interested in doing. At 11 o'clock this morning, we have our high school student, Matthew, who's doing a Life Stories group. So he's trying to get your stories and share them with the younger generation. So that's at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow we're celebrating the anniversary of the bistro. So it's going to be a complimentary lunch. So there'll be hot dogs, veggie burgers, chicken breasts, hamburgers, and coleslaw. So that's free of charge until supplies last. It's 11:30 to 1:30. Next Tuesday we have dinner with Doug, so that's at 4:30. And then the fire department does an annual cookout. That'll be August 5th at 4:30. We just ask people to sign up so we can get a head count. So I'm going to hand it over to the town manager, John Mangiarotti. Thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. Let's have an extended round of applause for Sharon McCurry and all the great work she does here at the Council on Aging. How long have you worked here now? 15 years of providing innovative and dynamic programs and services for 60 plus folks, which we just had a conversation about how that was set. It's apparently the senior center runs based on state programs that dictate that 60 is the minimum age to be considered a senior here. But interestingly, at the transfer station, we consider seniors as 65. So that's a mystery that was just brought to my attention today. So if anyone has any feedback on that, we can look into it. Anyways, thank you for being here, the Java with John program. I'm John Mangiarotti, I'm the town manager. I've worked here. This is my 8th year as town manager. So I feel like I'm really part of the community now. I'm not new. I'm not a young town manager. I'm not a new town manager. I'm just a regular town manager. I'm part of the community. I love being here. There's a lot of people that are involved in this local government, which makes it a really special place to work. We have outstanding staff, Sharon. We have Patricia Costers, our Economic Development Director, Tom Beegins, our Assistant Town Manager, and we have awesome professionals working in every building and doing all the services that you all benefit from as residents. It's a great place to work because of the staff. It's a great place to work because of the residents. We have committees. We have 40 to 50 committees of people that are actively engaged on the specific things that they're interested in, whether it's environmental advocacy, financial watchdogging, or other things that people want to get involved in. Everybody's helping us out, so it's a great place to work. Is this anyone's first time at the Java with John program here at the Senior Center? Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm going to give you the full, is this your first time too? No, okay. So I usually say a little bit about myself and then give a few updates. And then the bulk of the program is just questions and answers, and I do my best to answer the questions. We have a couple cameo appearances where some staff will make some other comments, but the bulk of it is to hear from you, what's on your mind, what you read about on Facebook. I'm here to answer all the questions because it's interesting. We publish a monthly monthly newsletter. We put out information on our website. We use social media. We have about 1,500 people that subscribe to get notices directly to their inbox. So that's 1,500 households that get the information directly to us, directly from us. Everyone else either doesn't get the information or maybe gets it from the Acton Exchange, or usually they get it from Facebook or maybe from here or their friends. So it's important for me, it's important for members of the select board. We have a member of the select board here with us today, David Martin. It's important for us to find opportunities to engage with residents to make sure that we're telling you all the things that are happening in town, and we have an opportunity to answer questions that you've heard or rumors that you've heard. So back to the scheduled program. As I mentioned, this is my 8th year. I used to work in the town of Andover, and before that I worked in the town of Westford, which is where I live with my family. My wife is a school teacher. My kids are school students, and we're happy to live in Westford, and I'm happy to work here in Acton. I think some of the things that we're working on in town are, everything that we do is things that people supported, right? So driving here, I drove by, I stopped at Town Hall this morning and checked in on a few things. Behind Town Hall, we have an awesome project going on at the 17 Woodbury Lane house, which is an old house that someone lived in until the 90s. The town bought it during the expansion of the library because we needed the space. And it just sat there for 25 or 30 years, 40 years, whatever, however long it's been sitting there. We finally have been able to get together funding from the federal government, mostly, and the state government partially, and the CPA, thanks to many of you, and we're renovating that into a small community space, focused more on outdoor with using the indoors as a support. But that's going to be a new indoor-outdoor community space for folks that are coming to Town Hall, folks that are going to the library. There'll be a bathroom that's accessible for people that are using the playground. So we're turning a lemon into a lemonade. And I'm really excited for that project. We're probably finishing in October, and I hope you come and check it out. And then as we head back down this way, we go by the public safety facility. On the right, we see a large elevator tower at the old Kennedy Landscaping Building. That is the elevator for the new McManus Manor Senior Affordable Housing Project, which is under construction. Delphi Construction is doing a really nice job. They keep a clean construction site. It'll be managed by the Acton Housing Authority, and it'll provide opportunities for 41 people to move into Acton or to relocate into better housing from within Acton. So that's really exciting. Then we get into a little bit further down, the sewer extension that we're finishing to come under Route 2. They're out there today working on that, and that site, once they clean that up, they're gonna start working on building a dog park there. So we're gonna have a dog park right here in Acton. It'll look nice. It'll be an Acton-style dog park. It was designed with some really talented architects, with a dog park committee that shepherded the design through. It was all funded through grants. We got, there's a private foundation called the Stanton Foundation that loves dog parks, and they fund dog parks all over the state or maybe the country. We got, I think, close to $300,000 from them. So it's an amenity that we're adding to the community using grant funds. Going further down, we get into everybody's favorite roadwork project, Kelly's Corner. I just noticed they're putting up the railings on the new bridge next to the Hosmer House, which is across from Not Your Average Joe's. It looks really good. The road it feels wider. The sidewalks are being poured. Things are really happening. I feel like the lights are going to be changing soon. I saw them messing with the lights today. I'm hoping that that's a good sign. But the street lights are all in. It's really coming together. I've seen people say, oh my goodness, this project is taking so long. It's so over time, over budget. No, we've always known it was going to be a 3-year project. We've always known it was going to feel like 10 years. And it has felt like 10 years, but it's only been two and a half years or so. It's going to be completed this winter. The road work will be all buttoned up because there's a bunch of landscaping and 100+ new trees that we're going to be planting. We won't be able to plant those this winter. So even though the project will be done this winter, they'll probably be back in the spring to do the planting and maybe some other little touch-up work. But you did it. You made it through the project. So thank you for your patience. And I think we've already seen some investment in the area. You know, Stop and Shop, I think, invested in that building, and I think we'll see more. I think people, business owners and developers will see the infrastructure and say, I want to have my business there. So it's a good thing, and it's safer for pedestrians. All the school kids, the entire school campus practically is right there, and now they'll have safe ways to get around that busy place. So it's a very exciting project. So coming further down this way, we get to Prospect Street, an intersection that was designed in the 1800s probably, when we were still using horses and buggies. It needed to be redone. It wasn't safe, it was confusing. People that drive through there for the first time didn't know what to do. So we've changed it so there's only one way in and one way out from Main Street, which is a safer condition for drivers and pedestrians. We've reduced the amount of asphalt and created some more green space by just by removing some of the roadway. The curbing, I saw the curbing out. They're going to be putting that in. That's a 6 week project, which started a few weeks ago. So the goal is to get that done before school starts, because things get really busy then. And then heading further down this way, onto High Street, we came up to here. You see the road work on Powell Road. That is the sewer extension project for the 230 units of apartment housing that are right on the Maynard line. That project is underway. You've seen it, it's grown, it looks really good from the street. The sewer project is a pretty big project. They're digging 15 feet down to put the sewer line in, so they can't just do it in a couple days. It's gonna take a long time. We really pushed them to keep Route 62 open, or Powell Road, whatever the number is. They wanted to just shut it down for a few weeks and do the project. And we said, no, we can't. You can't just shut the road down. And so they had a few days, I think last week, where they did shut the road down, but they've done a really good job of trying to keep at least one lane open the whole time. Patricia has worked with some of the businesses over there to try to help navigate some challenges that they're having. And you know, it's construction season, so thank you for your patience. We have a nice clean road coming up the hill here on Sudbury Road. Thank you to DPW for getting that done last week. And so that wraps up the roadwork journey from my house to here. What else do we have? Last night the select board met, took some actions on some important things. We have an energy aggregation program. Does anyone know what that is? Basically, we go out to bid and create a contract that sets the electricity rates for every resident in town, unless you choose to opt out of it. Anyways, it's for many years, we've had it probably for 6 or 7 years. It's created stable pricing, and usually it's better than what you'd get otherwise. But because of changes in the industry, there was a peculiar clause in the contract that allowed them to increase pricing mid-contract. And so the select board met and had the difficult decision last night of whether to absorb that increase by reducing the amount of renewable energy credits that we're using, or to increase the price to maintain our goals of addressing climate action. So the board ultimately decided to keep the price the same and absorb that price change so that people maintained the same structure in pricing that they had relied on. And then next year we'll be going out to bid and doing it all over again anyway. So I think it was an important decision, but I think the decision was made to keep pricing the same to reduce your costs, or to prevent your costs from going up. The other thing they started last night was they opened a public hearing for a new tennis and pickleball facility in North Acton, behind the church, which is behind the plaza where Crossroads is on Nagog Park. That's a public hearing. They want to build an indoor tennis and pickleball facility. There's some questions that the board had, and so that was continued until August 25th. If you're interested in that, check it out. They also proclaimed August 2nd as India Day, and there'll be a flag raising ceremony in front of Town Hall that day. I believe it's a Saturday. Interestingly, they also made a decision to hold a joint meeting with the Town of Maynard Select Board. That's pretty good, right? You don't hear that too often. So our select board said, we want to sit down in a room with the 5 select board members from Maynard, and we want to just hash some things out, communicate, talk about some common goals and common interests. And it's really an important step. I think in Massachusetts, we all are so inward facing, and we're all doing the same things in all 351 towns. And anytime we're willing to work together with our neighboring communities, it's a benefit to the residents. So I'm excited for that meeting. It'll probably be early fall or late summer. Stay tuned for that. Within Town Hall, I think last time I was here, I mentioned that we've had a lot of issues with recruitment and retention. The job market is very competitive. There's not a ton of people that are getting into local government, as awesome as it is. And so we've had to make some changes to the structure of our workforce to keep people here and to get people to want to come here, we actually changed the hours of town hall. Hopefully you didn't notice, because I think we provide really good services, and I think we've been tracking customer data and understanding when people use our services, and I think we made the change 3 weeks ago, and I don't think it's had any measurable impact on service, but it's given our employees a better schedule, a better work-life balance, and it's helped with recruitment and retention. I think if you can tell a future candidate that you have a 36-hour work week, it's something that sets us apart, and we're competing with other communities that have similar schedules, so it was an important move. But we have hired a new treasurer collector. We have a new staff in the accounting office. For the first time ever, we have a fire prevention officer. We have a great fire department, but for many years, the fire prevention activities we relied on the chief and the deputy chief to do that, and they're very busy trying to run the department. We've now hired this guy, Jeff Dalton, who loves fire prevention. All he does all day long is work on reviewing plans and finding ways to improve safety for our community. You saw what happened in Brockton last week. It was a horrible tragedy. Some of those things are just tragedies and accidents, but some of those things, there are things that we can do as a department, as an organization, to make improvements. And so he's going to be working on those type of things. So that's exciting. We also have other new staff that we're trying to add, and we're always hiring. If you know anybody that's looking for a job, tell them to check out our human resources page. A couple other little things I wanted to mention. What else do we have? Signs, Davis Trail, earmark, traffic. No, I think I covered everything. I think the questions that you all have will probably give us plenty more to talk about. Patricia or Tom, do you want to give any quick update or any comment? Come on up. Patricia Costa is our Economic Development Director. Started at the end of spring. We've been doing a lot of really important work since then.
Good morning, everyone. Well, economic development is a very challenging area, and many of the actions and projects that we've been working with intersect or overlap with many of the things that John has already presented, that he has already talked about. But among the projects that we intend to launch soon that may spark your interest is a banner contest. We intend to have the community participate in this banner contest, highlighting what images, what shapes, what colors they think that best feature each area in town. So we would like to have this contest to develop a visual identity for Kelly's Corner, a visual identity to Great Road Corridor, another for West Acton, one for South Acton, so that we can properly depict in banners that will be affixed on the posts the image that best represents each of these areas. By doing so, we intend to work on the visual identity, and I think it will be an interesting opportunity for those who have that innate talent for arts and also some knowledge of the history of the town to make contributions so that we can properly find the best images, colors, and shapes to represent these areas. We are also working to try to attract new businesses to the Great Road Corridor, and we are hopeful to secure some grants. We will hear back in September about these grants to give businesses some tax credit when they come to the Great Road Corridor under their commitment to host a piece of art. So we intend to benefit about 5 businesses. If everything works as we expect, we intend to benefit 5 businesses that can come to Great Road and host a piece of art. It could be a sculpture done by a local artist or a painting, anything that links, that connects to the history of Acton and can be represented in that store, in that business. It will be a way to stimulate arts and attract businesses at the same time. So these are 2 specific initiatives that are specifically under the Office of Economic Development that I would like to share with you. Do you have any questions, any ideas that you would like to share? I'm open to hear, and we can make them real actions under the office. Any comments? Nope. Okay.
Just saving them for the end.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. A lot of exciting new projects Patricia's been leading. Tom, do you want to give an update on a couple items? Tom Beegens, our assistant town manager, he started here about 1.5 years ago. Been doing a great job overseeing, not just helping in the office, but overseeing the facilities and all the different programs that we run, some building projects that he maybe will mention.
Thank you very much. It's good to see everybody today. So a couple things for you really quickly. To this Friday at Nara Park, the concert series will be continuing with an Elton John tribute, Yellow Brick Road. Show begins at 7. If you're interested in going, tickets are available online at actonrec.com, or if you call the office, they'll be able to help you out when you arrive. And in partnership with the Economic Development Department, we're doing a pretty cool feature where if you shop or visit an Acton restaurant, and then I think you have to bring your receipt or a coupon? So if you bring your receipt showing that you had lunch, dinner, breakfast, or a coffee at a local Acton restaurant to the concert, you save $5 on a ticket. So even more incentive to grab that cup of coffee before you go out. Yes, Leo?
But if you bought your tickets online and then you eat that day, how do you get a refund?
Voucher. We have vouchers that we'll give out.
For future?
Yes, absolutely. We want to get you out. We want to get you at a restaurant, enjoy some great music over at Nara too. The second update, who's familiar with the DPW project here? All right, so for the folks who didn't raise your hands, the DPW project, for the last 2 years, we've been working with a committee in town departments on identifying improvements and creating a design for a replacement of the DPW. It's an old, tired building that's undersized and doesn't support the current needs for operations. At town meeting, we were lucky to receive additional funding to do a study and a review. It's called a peer review, where they take all the efforts and all the designs that have been done to date, and the firm will come out and they'll say, okay, well, these are the things that really are what you need in the community. And this is the design that was done, but here are areas that you can either change it by increasing, decreasing. And they give suggestions on exactly what we need based off of feasibility studies from 2013, old design plans from 2013, and every effort that's been made for the last 12 years since then. We're currently in that process. We're working with Arrow Street. They're a consulting firm that's helped us out with facility reviews in the past. And the DPW Building Committee is meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. You can attend if you'd like to in person at room 204 in Town Hall, or you can watch it on Zoom. But we'll be discussing, the DPW Building Committee will be discussing the efforts of Arrow Street to date, and also talking through the design, the efforts, and some ideas that different building committee members have. So that'll be happening this Thursday, either on Zoom. ActonTV will be there as well, so you'll be able to see that live, or in person. We definitely invite you there. And John mentioned the Woodbury project, which is very exciting, so we'll have some photos for you coming out soon to show the inside of that building. And that's it for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Keep up the good work. So now is to the fun part of the program where we answer questions, or we try to answer questions that you all have. Reminder, I probably should have said this a half hour ago, we're being broadcast live on TV. If you have questions, I may repeat them so that the viewing audience could hear them. So anyone have any questions or comments? Yes?
So I've got 3 questions, beginning from here to Kelly's Corners. I understand that when the housing development is completed, the sewers will be at max capacity. If that's the case, what happens to residents in the sewer districts that have not hooked up?
Okay, the question was, we're getting close to our capacity for our sewer treatment plant. what happens to people that haven't connected yet but have been paying a sewer betterment for 25, 30 years. But the select board talked about that last night. That's a concern that we have. For the last 10 years, we've been trying to find opportunities to expand our wastewater discharge capacity. We have this beautiful plant that you maybe drove by on your way here on Adams Street that can process 400,000 to 500,000 gallons of wastewater. But because of permitting, we're limited at only at less than 300. And the issue is once you treat it, you need a place to put it. And we're not allowed to put at more than 300,000 gallons per day into the environment based on our permitting. So we need to find additional land to increase that. Until we do that, there's not much room for new sewer connections in the sewer district. There'll be room for one-offs, a couple here, a couple there. The project that was being discussed last night was a new daycare facility proposed next to the junior high. That was going to need the equivalent of 7 betterment units. There's room for things like that, but there's 200 plus properties in the sewer district that haven't connected yet. If all 200 of them came to us tomorrow and said we want to connect, we probably wouldn't be able to serve all those 200. So it's just a reality of resources that are limited, permitting challenges that we've encountered when the project was built in 2000. The permitting and regulatory environment was different than it is now, and I think we always believed that we'd be able to increase expand the capacity. We just haven't been able to do it yet. So that's a long answer to your question of if you need to connect to sewer, I would come and do it because it's a limited opportunity. And once we get to that end where we say that was the last connection, we're not there yet. But once we get there, we'll have the unfortunate circumstance where we have to discuss what to do about it. Like if you said, my septic has failed, I'm in the sewer district, and now you're saying I can't connect to the sewer? What's up with that? Yeah, I don't want to have those conversations, but at some point in the future, we may have to have those conversations.
Okay, I've got two easier.
Oh, good.
So Old High Street at one time was open from Old High Street to Route 62. Is there any possibility of opening that up again?
The question is opening up Old High Street. Isn't that to go across the dam? To connect it back to Route 62. That's not a conversation that I've ever had with anyone. Is there a particular reason why you're interested in that?
Right, so if you bike around town, it's much safer to bike down Old High Street than High Street with all the traffic. That's why.
Is that a private road? I think the person that owns the dam owns the road. But I can get back to you on that.
Okay. And then my final question is that you mentioned Kelly's Corner. There's one building that's really ugly and that's been there for the past 15 years, which is the McDonald's building. Any update on what to do about that?
Yeah, so our longtime Senator, Jamie Eldridge, recorded a funny video in front of the McDonald's last week, eating a box of French fries. Like I said earlier, once the infrastructure project is completed, I anticipate, and I don't think it's that unreasonable to expect that there'll be significant investment in the properties in that area. And I'm sure that if you're a restaurateur and you go there now, you may not be interested in taking that on. But once you see the beautiful sidewalks and the pocket park and the trees and the pedestrian scale lights and all the exciting new amenities that are going to be in that corridor, I think restaurants are going to be breaking down the door to be there. They just aren't going to do it until then. So we've waited for a while. McDonald's has been vacant for a while, but I think next year we'll start to see some activity because Stop and Shop owns that property, including the McDonald's, and they reinvested in the Kmart, right? Because they were thinking about selling it. They were doing all kinds of different ideas, but ultimately Stop and Shop decided to reinvest in the Kmart building and made it a grocery store. They also added 2 retail spaces in that original Kmart building, which are also vacant. So I think they're looking to lease those, unless you know something that I don't know.
The sign looks like there's a Citizens Bank.
Oh, okay, they were vacant. But now there's a citizen.
It's been up there, it's just an ATM, I think.
Okay, so I don't know, but as far as I know, they haven't been occupied. But I think once the project's done, once those big concrete pipes are not in front of it, I think they'll be more interested in investing in it. Thank you. We got off to a good start with some 3 hard-hitting questions. Easy one?
Related.
Okay.
So, you mentioned how we've long had to experience Kelly's Corner for a long time. It's really been pretty bad. And I happened to tune into the select board meeting when they were getting the end of a presentation about how much it would cost to do a complete street study in South Acton, and I thought, that's where I live, and I do not want to see that. I'm sure you'll go for the $6 million somewhere else, but how about just getting a light in there before those apartments open up at the end? You know, all those that apartment building, once it's complete, you're going to dump all those people on the High Street. Trying to get out onto 27 at High Street is a bore most times of day now anyway. Can't we just get a light and forget the rest for a while? I don't want to go through another 3 years of complete street.
Kelly's Corner is a massive project. It's 4 major intersections in a state, Mass Ave is a state road. It's a huge project. I think even if we did do a comprehensive redesign of the High Street, School Street, Main Street, it wouldn't be as impactful as this was. But to address your question, we are replacing the light that's at School Street right now because it's malfunctioning. And then if the study determines that additional traffic control measures are needed, we'll look at that. But you're right, it is tough there in the afternoons, I know, or maybe all the time, but it's something that we're looking at. Yeah, because if you're over on High Street, but if you go to the other side, there's 5 different ways you can go. And so there's a lot of, you can go to School Street, you can go to Nylander, you can go Central. There's a lot of things going on over there. And so as the community ages and its infrastructure ages, we look for opportunities to make things safer and make more sense to people, because it's not just motorists. I think a lot of the stuff we have was designed for motorists. And we're trying to slowly redesign things for everyone else, for pedestrians, for cyclists, etc.
I mean, the complete streets takes a long time, and if you separate a light from that at the bottom of High Street, that can alleviate. Sometimes just count the cars going in 3 different directions there, and it's pretty horrible. That's my question.
Okay, so just throw a light up on High Street. That's your suggestion. All right, well, I'll bring it back.
Okay.
Ellen, yes.
Okay, I have two things. One is we, the seniors, the Pennsylvania board, was delighted with the new recreation department employee. Came to the senior center and spoke.
Okay.
We learned a tremendous amount, and we're very enthusiastic and plan to work more closely with the rec department for activities for seniors, because we think that would be a big boon. That's one thing, and we want to compliment.
Mike Collins is his name. Mike Collins is the new assistant rec director. Thank you for mentioning that.
And so that was great. And the second, you mentioned something, right, when you start to speak about transportation requirements are age 65 and senior center user requirements is 60. Is there anything we can do to explore?
It was just brought to my, no, the transfer station is what I was referring to. The transfer station sticker program has a different tier if you're 65. And the question was, why isn't it 60? And I don't know the answer, but we'll look into it.
Same good question, but
yes.
that wasn't what I heard.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
I have a comment and a question. My comment relates to identity politics. You talked about the fact that there were 351 communities in the Commonwealth. And if one's looking for a source of waste in the Commonwealth, it's exactly that. So I was thrilled that the select board is talking to Maynard by way of going from 351 to 350. I proposed that
we're not taking over Maynard.
No, we have Boxborough. I want you to, AB should be AB in total. And so I know that isn't going to happen in the short term, but it was sad, of course, to see the emergency services activity, the attempted regionalization with Concord go down. We need to push this. This is just not a good system. Okay, so enough identity politics. My question relates to the DPW building. So the DPW, as we learned from the presentation, has a lot of equipment and can do a lot of things. But it's also the case that we contract out various kinds of activity, for example, these culvert replacements in certain locations. With respect to the DPW over time, can you comment about the distribution of what is done internally versus what is done externally? And with respect to the new building, is it appropriate to consider how much outsourcing we do relative to the size of that building and the capital equipment that we want the town to own?
Thank you. That's a very complex question. I'll do my best to answer it. So I think, well, yeah, the DPW Building Committee is Thursday night, but I think in general, we have 130 miles of public roads, several miles of sidewalks, 2 bike trails, and everything in between that the DPW maintains. So we could have 100 employees, right, and keep them busy. But what we do is we find the right balance between what we can reasonably afford on an annual basis for a budget for the amount of labor that we have in-house, and then what we contract for. And usually we look at specialties and sort of one-off projects as things that we contract. You know, we'll pave some roads, or we'll use a contract to get Sudbury Road paved by contractors. We'll build some sidewalks, like on Taylor Road, or we'll use contractors like we are on Prospect Street. And we're doing those things at the same time, so it allows us to increase our productivity during a short construction season. But when it comes down to it, one of the core functions of DPW is snow removal. And if you take what happens in a 6-inch of snowstorm, they have to go out probably 2 or 3 times, you know, to keep the road safe. And we have about 32, 33 vehicles out on the road that are town vehicles. We also have about 25 contracted vehicles out on the roads just to clear 6 inches of snow safely. So we use almost half of contracted labor for snowstorms. I don't think we could go, you know, too far in the other direction. 75-25, for example, contracted versus in-house, and I don't think we'd want to go too far in the other way around. I think where we're at is a good mix, because if it's a slow year, you know, you don't want to have the full labor force to fight snow and you don't get any. And if it's a busy year, you have the help. And you also don't want to have to rely on contractors. It was mentioned last night that, yes, outsourcing and contracting is an important tool that communities use, but if you're trying to get your trash picked up in one of the Metro Boston communities that the trash workers have been on strike for 3 weeks, you're having a tough week right now. You have smelly trash in front of your house for the last 3 weeks because there's a labor strike. So there's trade-offs if you look at outsourcing, but as always, we look at that as how we do the annual budget every year. A few examples of that are lawn maintenance or park maintenance. We have a crew, a tree and grounds crew, led by our tree warden, with a handful of workers. We have a lot of ground to cover, but instead of hiring 10 more workers, we have a contract, and the contract does sort of the easy stuff. They'll do the weekly mowing, they'll do the weekly trimming, they'll help with a couple fall cleanups, but everything else is done by our staff. So I think we have the right mix, and I think for the next, I don't know how far you want me to look, but for the future, I think having a good mix and a good balance of in-house staff and contracted staff is the right way to do it. I don't think we can outsource the DPW. We need to have assets and personnel in-house. And I think if you're asking, well, geez, could we, instead of having 40 vehicles, could we have 33 vehicles? Probably. Would that make the building smaller? I'm not sure in a material way, but those are things that we're looking at. Yes?
Yeah, so I think you completely understood the spirit of the question. So the spirit of the question is the DPW building decides for a current operating decision. And to the best of my knowledge, there hasn't really been a public discussion of that operating decision and how things are mixed between outsourced work and in-house work. For all the reasons that you say, obviously, we don't want to outsource 100% or even 75%. And I think the other thing embedded in your answer that's important is you need to staff for the peak problem, even though the peak only exists for a little while, in the case of some of these events like the snow, or for example, when we had that microburst, make a hash of the town. So from my view, the discussion of the DPW building will not be complete if there isn't also some fleshing out of how are we really operating, what are we doing internally, what are we doing externally. Is that a balance that we're likely to not change very much over the next 5 to 10 years?
Thank you for the questions and comments. Yes.
I don't know if this is comic relief or not. Your ride here to the senior center, unfortunately, you didn't go down Taylor Road and attempt to cross Piper and across Route 2. And if you had done that marvelous drive, you might have been able to see people running the traffic light going west on Route 2. In our neighborhood, in the Brewster Estates, we have noticed a high incidence of people running the light, people going west on Route 2. And last month, a woman was bringing her daughter home from the library, and she had a 12-year-old and a 3-year-old. There was a major impact. The family was hospitalized, and I have pictures of it. It's a very bad situation. It's one of the top 5 accident spots in the state. Several weeks ago, MassDOT came, gave a presentation, and they said that they were going to redo that intersection. It still does not solve the problem of cars running the light. I've lived in town for 46 years, and over the years I've seen the state police sit at the dump and monitor speed. They haven't been there for quite some time. And I guess what our neighbors would like is an advocate. We don't seem to be getting anywhere, and it's a serious situation. And the improvement, if it turns out to be an improvement, isn't going to be for several years. But in fact, it's a dangerous situation for anyone who has to negotiate that intersection. And I just wish that we could have an advocate. Jamie Eldridge responded to someone who wrote him a letter thinking, oh, the meeting, MassDOT's going to solve it. MassDOT's not going to solve it. We need the town to get active, to get after the state, to do something. We have had fatalities at that intersection. We need something done.
Thank you. Yes, it is, and I don't go that way. I like to go through the construction zones to check out progress, but well, I recommend you do the same. I mean, I think it's.
I have to, Brucewood has there's two, one way in, one way out. That's the only, to get out of the neighborhood, one would have to go down to School Street and up through the construction. It's not, if you're going to a library and you want to get back to Brucewood's,
Yeah.
that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And the reality is people get stalled at the rotary, and then they've got this open space, and you can see people, they're coming to the light, and you can see that momentary hesitation, and they just go. And I'm not talking yellow, I'm talking full red light.
Yeah, that's a problem. I think I wonder. I can check with the police chief about if there's some enforcement that we can do. I know it's a state highway, but I think it's still our jurisdiction. So I can look into that question, because I think the road redesign will help. but it's 5 years out at the earliest before the work actually happens. I think it looked like a pretty good design, and I think it'll take a bad situation and make it okay. Instead of making it, you may want it to be perfect. I think it's going to be okay, which is better than.
It's still not going to prevent people, they have us exiting in order to go west, we're going to go east and then west. It's still not going to stop those people running the light so that you won't get.
But we can't design a road to prevent people from being bad drivers. We just need to do better enforcement. So I think, maybe John thinks we can.
Well, what I think you can do, so I'm not really a fan of this traffic cam ticketing, but by way of having.
The red light cameras, yeah, I've seen those in some cities, yeah.
Enforcement at that light, because you kick out a few tickets and people will hear, and to Alma's point, it absolutely, people leave the rotary, they know that the wide open road is there. You need to do something,
Yeah.
they send them a message.
Well, I'll check back in with you, thank you and I got a letter about that yesterday too.
At that MassDOT meeting, someone said, we need cameras there, and the gentleman said, it's illegal to do that, and we all were like, what? Because they couldn't see. I don't understand why they couldn't, even the threat of it, even if they were going to do something, if you've got,
You could get a sign that says traffic enforced by helicopter. You've seen those out in the country roads, something like that. No, I seriously though, I think I will talk to the police about what any additional measures we can do for enforcement, because as I said before, the road design isn't perfect, but it's the design of the road isn't the problem. It's the people that are not driving responsibly that we need to fix. So thank you for bringing that up. I will circle back on that one.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I was going to say with what Alice said, there always used to be a state police or a policeman after the dump entrance, and you would always slow down because you were afraid that the policeman would over the hill. You couldn't really see, but it made people slow down coming to that way.
right, and they haven't been there for 7 years.
No, they haven't for several years, right?
Okay, well,
There's a sign that says,
slow down, yeah.
please monitor this area.
Thank you. Yes, a question? Oh, yes.
So back to sewers.
Sewers.
This is my personal story. My husband died a couple of years ago. After he died, I decided to hook up to the sewer. I've lived on Adams Street since 1987. We have a well, and so anyways, I wasn't expecting such a huge sewer bill every month. And the reason is that they're basing it on a 4-bedroom house. And I just think that, I'm one person living there. I don't think I'm putting out what, people that normally live in a 4-bedroom house do. And I was told that it's in the bylaws, it has to be that way. I'm just wondering, could it be changed?
Is that because you have a well?
Yeah, so the question is about, she recently hooked up to sewer and was surprised at how expensive it is. I think it's based on usage, so your water meter usage is used to, oh, well then we need to talk later because I don't know how that works.
They told me they're basing it on I think the average of what a 4-bedroom house pays for their water and sewer.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound great. So I can look into that with you. If you want to give me your information, I can connect with you later.
Okay.
Yes.
2 quick questions. Any updates on new shops or restaurants coming into town? And also, second question, on the Woodbury construction, has any thought been given to maybe putting a 3-season coffee, ice cream area there, that playground, the grandparents and parents hanging at the playground can go and get a coffee, get an ice cream, and have tables and umbrellas right in that area?
I'll start with that one. That's a great idea. I think the way this space is being set up is that it could be used for that in a pop-up. I mean, I don't think we wouldn't rent it to Dairy Queen or something, but I think we could have a pop-up of that type of activity there for a month or a week, or coffee trucks. I think it's a flexible space that I'm excited to see the different ideas that the community has for how we're going to use it, and that's a good one. Other news about shops coming to town. J. Crew just opened up. You can get some sharp new threads over next to Trader Joe's in that plaza. J. Crew just opened last week, which is exciting. It's a J. Crew factory, so I think it's a little bit better price point, and you still get the great quality threads. Other things, other new restaurants. Patricia, what do we got?
Yeah, we have 2 new restaurants, 2 new eateries for the Trader Joe's Plaza. One occupying the...
Hold on, we need the microphone. And hold it like that far away.
Yeah, we have 2 new eateries coming to the Trader Joe's Plaza. One is going to be where KJ's Cafe used to be, and the other is next to the indoor golf. We also have a new restaurant coming to Woods Plaza, next to CVS. It's an Indian restaurant. And we have a yoga studio. They're gonna speak before the select board in August to bring a yoga studio to Golds Plaza. These are the ones that I have in mind.
Yeah, so lots of new restaurants coming. There's another, you know, the old Red Raven and whatever it used to be called up in North Acton? The Scupper Jacks. So McGovern Auto bought that whole area, and they're making some significant investments in that space for a new restaurant. They haven't told us, they won't tell us what it is, but they're putting a lot of money into it. So I assume it's happening, and we don't have a timeline. But so there are some things, there are some new restaurants coming, and Patricia is working hard to find more. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Yes?
It was put out they were going to do some renovation on 2A. I've seen a program where they're going to redo that, put trees in, widen to make it a little safer.
So, yeah, thank you for the question about Great Road. We have been working with the state using grant funds to design improvements to the Great Road corridor, really focusing on some of the intersections that have been there for a long time, and they're very wide. And that's an unsafe condition for pedestrians, and it sometimes can be confusing for drivers. So we're working on a project to redesign several of the intersections on Great Road to make them safer. And we're hoping that that will encourage the state to then further make investments in the whole corridor to implement some of the complete streets designs that we've had for sidewalks along the whole thing. So that's we'll have more on that in the spring. But yeah, I think $2 million, at least $2 million is in the Mass DOT plans for that right now, and more is coming. So thank you for that. The push button crosswalk sign that we have next to Gould's Plaza, they're going to be putting a few more of those on Great Road as well. Those are really important for people that are walking. It's a tough road to get across in a car. Never mind if you're trying to walk across. So what that does is it stops traffic, and it's a red light, and then people can safely get across, and then it just blinks itself out, and then it goes back to regular traffic. So those are some of the improvements that are coming to Great Road. Thank you. And included in that is a sidewalk from where Acorn Plaza is to Quail Ridge Golf Course. The road that leads there, we're going to make sure that that's better for pedestrians as well. Yes?
We're still missing sidewalk in the area. So you don't really have sidewalk. And you see people on that road walking and bicycling, which is terrifying. I'm anxious to hear when they will move that up on their list.
Right, so as I said before, a lot of the infrastructure in this community was built for cars. And we're slowly working our way back around to redesign it for everyone else. And once we're finished with Kelly's Corner, we'll have that out of the way, and the next big area of focus is Great Road, where you'll start to see construction. We've been doing design work for several years. Thank you. A celebration of lights. I like it. That's a great idea. Detective Leo Gower is here from the Acton Police Department. Any updates from the PD?
No.
No.
good.
Business as usual, okay, good. Any other questions or comments or complaints? No? Okay, well, I appreciate you spending an hour with me and us, and thank you for your engagement in what's happening in the community. Tell your friends. Tell your friends that if there's ever a question that they have, my email address is very easy. It's manager@actonma.gov. If that's too much for you, it's my initials, JSM@actonma.gov. Don't ask Facebook questions about things you see out in the world. Ask me. That's my job. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to, if you send me an email on a Friday night, you may not get a response until Monday morning, or maybe you will. But please, ask me questions. That's what we're here for. We have a great team that if I get a question, I'll just shoot it off to DPW director or the economic development director, and they'll get you an answer quick. You don't need to go to Facebook to get answers. I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't go to Facebook. It's a great place to engage with your community. But if you have questions about what's happening in town, that's what we're here for. Thank you. Nice to see you all.